celebrations at Tilby of George Bland's 21st birthday were conducted in accordance with the usage of English county families. There was a dance in marquees on the lawn for the tenants, and a dinner party and a ball for the gentry. Since I was not there, I only know from hearsay what happened when the birthday celebrations were over.
Hello, not in bed yet?
No.
Well, I just came in to say goodnight. Beautiful night, too, isn't it? I've never seen the place looking lovelier. 7 generations from father to son. That's something, isn't it?
Yes.
You must have a talk about your future one of these days.
Yes, I'd like to.
You know, you're a lucky young devil. Not many young fellows of your age are in a position to choose practically any career they want to. Your last year at Oxford, then the diplomatic corps, if you like, or the House of Commons, if you have a mind for politics. Of course, your mother would like to see you in the Grenadier Guards, I know. And your uncle would like you in the city with him.
As a matter of fact, Father, I've been thinking about this pretty carefully recently, and I've finally made up my mind what I want to be.
Oh, what's that?
A pianist.
What?
I want to play the piano.
Well, of course, you can play the piano any time you like. I was talking about your career.
That's what I meant. I want to be a professional pianist. Well, you know, I've loved it ever since I was a small boy. Sometimes I've given it up when something new came along, but I always went back to it. And, you know, even at Oxford, I practiced sometimes all through the night. Now I know quite definitely that that's what I want to give my life to.
George, I don't think I quite understand. I used to be fond of fishing when I was a boy. I didn't become a professional fisherman. I didn't give my life to it.
Fishing and music aren't quite the same thing, Father. I mean, you know, music is an art.
Well, fishing's an art, too, if it comes to that. But how can you give your life to music? You can't play the piano all day. You'd drive everybody crazy.
When you love music as much as I do, you have to give your life to it.
Look, George, I shouldn't have brought up the subject of your future this time of night. We're both too tired to think sensibly. Let's talk about it in the morning, shall we?
Well, I'm awfully glad you did bring it up, because I want to talk about it. I mean, being tired doesn't make any difference.
No, not now. Some other time. Tomorrow. Good night, old chap.
Good night, Father. Good night.
Thank you, Dennis. He can't have meant it seriously. He must have been joking.
No, he wasn't joking. He was dead serious. He wants to be a professional piano player.
You mean he wants to play in cinemas?
They don't have pianos in cinemas now, Uncle. The pictures talk.
Where on earth does he want to play?
I can't think what put the idea into his head. He's always enjoyed playing the piano ever since he was old enough to sit on a piano stool. But he's not good enough to earn a farthing at it.
Of course, you'll refuse to let him.
I don't see how I can, really. After all, the boy's 21. He's his own master. Mind you, I confuse a lot of other things.
Morning, everybody.
Morning, George.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late, Mother.
Sleep well?
Like a top, did you?
Dreamt a lot of blue rockets chasing me.
Too much champagne.
George,
Yes, Mother?
your father's been telling us an extraordinary story about you wanting to be a professional pianist. I can only hope he was joking.
No, Mother, I'm afraid he wasn't. I'm quite sincere about it. I don't want to go back to Oxford next term. I want to go to Paris to study there.
Good heavens, you've got the chance of a cricket blue next year. Why, you might even play for the county.
Yes, Uncle, I know. I'm sorry about that. I'm fond of cricket, but my career comes first.
Look here, George. You're heir to a great estate. One day you will succeed me here with all the duties and responsibilities that our family have held in Tilby for generations. Thousands of youngsters of your age give their eyes to be in your position. Yet you sit there and talk about giving your life to the piano.
I'm sorry, Father. But you see, if I wasn't terribly keen about music, I'd be very contented here. I love this house. I love the country. I love the people. But I'd never be happy. I couldn't be happy without music, honestly. I didn't expect you to take kindly to it. Music isn't exactly a strong point in our family.
It's got nothing to do with it. I should feel just the same if you wanted to be an acrobat or a juggler or any other damn fool thing unworthy of your position.
I'd like to leave for Paris next week.
You would? And I'm to pay for this nonsense, I suppose?
No, I don't expect you to pay for it. Why should you if you disapprove of it?
How are you going to live?
Well, I've saved a bit for my fare. I'll give English lessons for my keep.
Long way that'll get you.
If others can do it, I can.
Now, look, George, don't let's be hasty. I came down here for your coming of age with a nice, solid present to offer you. A junior partnership in the family business, 2,000 a year and a flat in town.
No, thank you, Uncle John.
Well, my dear chap, in 3 years' time, you'll take my place as Conservative candidate for Bargate. A safe seat, and you'll carry on the family tradition.
Awfully good of you, Uncle, but I've quite made up my mind. I want to be a pianist.
No, Uncle, I think you went about that the wrong way.
So it's my fault. I'm to blame.
Would you mind if I suggested something?
No, well,
George is stubborn, pig-headed. The more you try to stop him, the more he'll want to do it. If you give him a flat no and cut him off without a penny, he'll starve rather than give in.
well, what of it?
Give him a fair chance. Make him a small allowance, enough to live on and pay his fees in Paris. Let him study there 2 years, on one condition, that at the end of 2 years, he must come back and let some competent, unprejudiced person hear him play.
But what good would that do?
Tell him that if that person says he shows real promise of becoming a first-class pianist, then he can go ahead. If not, he must abide by the decision and promise faithfully to give up all thoughts of making music his profession. Isn't that fair? What do you say, Uncle? Remember, he'll go whatever you say.
Well, what can I say? Look, if he'll agree to the terms you've suggested, all right. I'll give him £5 a week to pay his fees and his lodgings.
May I tell him you agree?
What do you think, dear?
I think Paula's right.
All right. Hurry back and tell us what he says.
We'll be in the hall. Come on, John, you've had quite enough. Come on, sweetie.
George, I want to talk to you.
It's no good, Paula. I've made up my mind.
I know, but I persuaded your father to let you go.
You've what?
He agrees to your going to Paris for 2 years, and he'll make you a small allowance. But at the end of that time, you've got to give it up, unless an expert says you've got a good chance of making a first-class pianist. What do you say?
I say yes, of course.
You're very sure of yourself?
Well, I know I can do it.
All right, I tell your father then.
Paula, you've been absolutely wonderful. Thanks.
Is that the best you can do?
I'm sorry.
Don't be silly. I know you're not in the mood. George, there's no room for anything else in your life but music, is there?
Well, at the moment, should I...
All right. You needn't answer that one.
Paula, I'm terribly fond of you.
I'm not fond of you. I happen to love you. But I'll probably get over it.
Well?
It's all right. You needn't disown him. He agrees to everything. 2 years in Paris, then an agreed judge to give the verdict.
But it's definite he gives up this piano nonsense if the verdict goes against him.
Yes.
Good. When's he start?
Tomorrow morning.
Dites-moi, est-ce que Monsieur Georges Bland habite ici?
Monsieur Georges Bland?
Oui.
Au 3e, au fond du corridor, la porte en face.
Merci.
Hello, George. How are you?
Hello, Paula. Come along in. Well, this is it.
Do you live alone here?
Yes, I've got a woman who comes in twice a week to help me clear up. I get my own breakfast and lunch.
Can you cook?
No. Here you are, sit down.
Thank you.
No, I just have bread and cheese and beer for lunch. I dine out with a couple of fellows who live around here. What are you doing over here? There's another month, you know.
I know, I haven't come to drag you back. I had to go to Rome, and I promised your mother I'd look you up on my way.
How is she? How's everybody?
All right. They miss you, naturally. I think they rather expected you to throw it up in a month or so.
Good Lord, no, it's hard work, but I love it.
You got a good teacher?
Yes, he's a bit hard to please, but he's good. Of course, the trouble is I only get sort of a couple of lessons a week, you see. The rest of it's all practice, 10 hours a day.
Are you satisfied?
I think so.
Won't you play to me?
Well, you know, I'm a bit tired. I've had rather a busy day today.
Please.
All right. sorry, that was no good. I'm not in the mood. I'll play for you in the morning.
Sounded all right to me.
No, I can play much better than that.
George, there was something I wanted to tell you. It was agreed that someone should judge your playing when you come home next month. Through a friend of mine, I met Leah Mackhart. I've explained what happened. She's promised to come.
But that's wonderful.
Will you accept her judgment?
Well, of course. She's the finest woman pianist in Europe. She's terrific. Of course, I've never actually met her, but I go to all her concerts. Do my father and mother agree?
They think she's a bit too arty. They're scared she'll be too much on your side, but they agree.
You'll explain that I'm only a beginner.
I've told her everything.
I know I can do it. I can feel it in my bones.
George,
Yes?
I was just wondering what you'd do.
If you weren't able to carry on with your music,
Well, I don't know. I've never even thought about it.
it might be a good idea to have some other interest.
Such as what?
You never thought of falling in love.
Yeah, yes. But that'll have to wait.
Don't let it wait too long. Hello.
Paula, I'm so glad you've come.
Is the great lady here yet?
Not yet. George has driven to the station to meet her. I didn't want him to.
Why not?
Well, a boy can be very charming when he wants to be. Too charming. I'm so afraid he'll persuade her to think